Okay, it's 2017, and I don't know if you've noticed this about people in their 20s these days. It's kind of like they're always angry, depressed, or stressed out. When I was in my 20s, which was like 17 years ago, I wasn't always angry, stressed out, and depressed. I had my moments of it, but I was mostly just content. We call it the generation of apathy, Generation X. But of course, that generation uh, ended up spawning a lot of I guess you could say like startup millionaires and billionaires. Um, and there's a lot of them in the millennials too. I wouldn't say a lot, but Bill Gates is Generation X. Steve Jobs, Generation X. The richest people in the United States are Generation X. Um, Mark Zuckerberg. Again, if you don't like atheists, don't use Facebook because Mark Zuckerberg is an atheist. Um, he's one of the richest young people in the world. He's a millennial. But I would say that there's more rich people among Generation X and the baby boomers. And I guess Warren Buffett would be like the lost generation, the generation before the baby boomers. So there's probably more billionaires uh, before now than there are now from this current generation. I think Elon Musk might be a millennial. Uh, but then again, he might be my age. I don't really know. The point is that the millennials are like overworked and overstressed, and they're just stressed out. It's like they're always on TV and they're always like for show. It's like they have this whole thing where it's like they're constantly doing an interview. They're not content to just like leave things be and not get involved, which is something that people of my generation are more akin to doing, like just like letting things go and being cool about shit. The millennials always have to have a fucking opinion about something. They gotta bitch about something. And really, the only thing to bitch about these days are the millennials. The fact that they bitch about everything. An atheist from Generation X will just mention that he's an atheist, but an atheist millennial will make like this big show about it, like he's special or something. Uh, or vegans, the millennials, like this big show about it. And you might say that that's like overachievement. It's like an overcompensating generation, especially people that try to be successful that were born in the 1990s. It's just like this overcompensation. And a lot of hypocritical attitudes too. Like you find the chicks that are socialists, but if you have a hot tub, they're more likely to kick it with you than if you didn't have a hot tub, even though they're socialist and probably, and when you meet them, pretty down to earth. Um, but you'll notice like when a woman from the 1990s, born in the 1990s, hangs out with the guy born in the 1990s, afterwards she's depressed. But if she's hanging out with somebody that's over 35, not depressed, happy, go lucky afterwards. It's because younger males have more telomerase, and that telomerase overabundance causes depression, anger, stress. When coupled with another person under 35 that has a lot of rising telomerase. So just notice that when you meet somebody born in the 1990s, and then after they hang out with people born in the 1990s, and then they're maybe alone, they're just like sad and depressed and maybe even angry. But after they hang out with like their teachers that are like over 35, they're more upbeat. And it doesn't really have anything to do with the experience. It has to do mostly with chemical levels that lead to that experience. So really, it's not that I hate millennials. I'm worried about them. I hate the intra-ageal shit because I know that's what's causing their problems. The youth bandwagoning that's been going on for 100 years is just getting worse and worse and worse. We're seeing more age gap relationships now. But again, you go on the dating sites, the high progesterone in women, which make men feel better, especially aging men over 35, are only really dating high testosterone men that are their own age. It's kind of like watching brothers and sisters and knowing this information. The telomere attrition of the 20th century since the 1912 aging effect myth against older dads has damaged us more than inbreeding. And also there was, of course, a lot of younger dads in the Middle Ages, but there was less land area. So it's like inbreeding times 5 with less land area and more poverty, so there's more breeding, which is just causing more and more problems. But you notice as soon as a woman born in the 1990s, today in 2017, actually has an honest encounter with a man that's over the age of 35, that encounter is a positive experience. But on the dating sites, you have to kind of Trojan horse through, and lying is not a good way to start a relationship. You have to lie about your age in order to get through. It might be a way to get pussy by saying, hey, I'm 18, you're 18, let's hook up, and then reveal after you have sex. I've lied about my age to get information through, but I have not hooked up with anybody from a dating site that's in the range that I would like to date. Why date younger women? They're goddesses. They're more attractive. They're more down to earth. They're more future oriented. They're not always talking about the past. They ask interesting questions. They answer the questions. Once you are alone with them, they're open to sex. Once you're in a relationship with them, they're open to conversation and going along with the flow. They're honest. They're funny. They're more likely to accept a hug or a kiss. They're nicer. They produce more progesterone, which makes their chemicals more immune boosting for the mate, which would be the males. Their wombs are more fertile, so they would produce better kids with your telomerase when you're over 35. So men over 35 should be hooking up with women under 26. Women under 26 should be hooking up with men over 35 because it's going to boost the immune system of both involved. It's going to cut down on cancer rates later in life. It's going to make you both less depressed and less angry because of differing levels of where the telomerase is going. Younger people, it's rising, and then older people, it's falling. But the added benefit is sperm, which of course makes semen age reversing, but that's just sort of a side point to being a male over 35. The real thing is the rising versus falling telomerase, and the rising of the sperm will create children that are stronger on every level. It's a life-giving chemical on the strands of DNA that controls replication. Currently, the current rate in skin is 60, and in the body it's 89. But strong telomeres means strong chromosomes, means strong body, means strong brain. So you get more intelligence, more compassion, more happiness, more strong relationships between the parents and the child without the child being disrespectful, and without the father and mother being like helicopter parents. There's more of an understanding because the DNA is stronger. It's like they become adults sooner, and they're more mature when the father is older and the mother is younger. There's plenty of studies on this that I've linked to. I've linked to studies from 2016 that longer telomeres lead to every good thing about a child. Shorter telomeres come from younger fathers inbreeding and older mothers, which lead to every bad condition. You notice that the young kids today have more medical conditions. And to you, it's like I'm rambling on about the same shit. But until I get a date with a woman under the age of 26, I'm going to keep doing it. And you have no right to ask me if I'm entitled, because it's like asking a black guy if he's entitled to date a white woman. Yes, I am entitled to it. It's my right.